This is Mr. Land with the latest business news headlines from Day Trading Radio for Tuesday, January 20th, 2011. It was a huge earnings day with Google, ISRG, and Morgan Stanley all reporting. MS reported in the pre-market fourth quarter earnings of 43 cents versus the 35-cent estimate on revenues of $7.8 billion versus the expected $7.4 billion. MS closed up $1.27 at $29.02. After hours, Google reported fourth quarter earnings of $8.75 versus the expected $8.10 on revenues of $6.37 billion versus the estimate of $6.1 billion. And Google named founder Larry Page as the company's new CEO, replacing Eric Schmidt, who will become the executive chairman. Google shares soared as high as $6.54 on the report before settling back in the 640s. Google closed the regular session at $626.77, down $4.98. And shares of Intuitive Surgical rose as much as 36 points after their earnings report. ISRG reported Q4 earnings of $302 versus the $225 estimate on revenues of $389 million versus the expected $370 million. The company also guided full-year 2011 revenue higher. ISRG ended the day at $289.83, down 62 cents, and traded as high as $326 after hours. Better than expected job numbers and existing home sales sent many stocks higher after 10 a.m., but that was short-lived as the indices hit their lows around 11:30 on worries that China might have to tighten monetary policy to curb inflation. Buyers came back into the market as the S&P rallied to a high with just over an hour to go in the trading day. Overall, the three major indices finished slightly down, with the Dow down 249 to close at 11,822.80, the Nasdaq down 2107 to close at 2704.29, and the S&P 500 lost 166 to close at 1280.26. Today's big gainers include ITT Educational Services, ESI, rising 674 to close at 69.48 on better than expected earnings. Hughes Communications gained 506 to close at 51.49 on chatter the company might be an LBO target. Perrigo Company, PRGO, rose 493 to close at 71.18. The company is acquiring the assets of Paddock Labs for $540 million. Sears Holdings, Shield, gained 372 to close at 75.90. And U.S. Steel, X, gained 178 to close at 54.11 after positive comments by UBS. On the downside, F5 Networks, FFIV, lost 29.63 to close at 109.15 after disappointing earnings last night. Salesforce.com, CRM, lost 9.05 to close at 131.79. Priceline lost 7.81, closing at 424.22. Apple fell 3.22, closing at 332.68. And Netflix lost 5.87 to close at 185 after cautious analyst comments this morning. Earnings before the open Friday: Air Products and Chemicals, APD, Airgas, ARG, Applied Industrial Technologies, Bank of America, BB&T, First Horizon, GE, Prosperity Bank Shares, Schlumberger, and SunTrust Banks. Economic events scheduled for Friday at 8:30 a.m. the Canada November retail sales. Those are the latest news headlines from Day Trading Radio. I'm Mr. Land. Have a great night.